Right now, something never before attempted on television. An amazing test of automatic washers right here in our studio. Here's Betty Furness with the trial of the washers.
Yes, tonight you're going to see a trial of 4 of America's leading automatic washers, including the Westinghouse laundromat, to see just how well they wash and rinse your clothes. These 4 ladies are 4 leading club women from the New York State and New York City Federation of Women's Clubs, and they're here to represent you, to make sure that each machine gets an absolutely fair trial. They are in no way connected with Westinghouse, its dealers, or its advertising agency. They are Mrs. Olin Grantham, Mrs. Kenneth Strayer, Mrs. Donald Knaggs, and Mrs. Arthur Kramer. Now, ladies, would you each check the inside of your washer to make sure it's completely clean? And then next, you'll find beside you 6 white bath towels, 2 cups of dirty sand, and some detergent. Now, if you would load those towels into the machine, and as you do, shake each one out to make sure that it's clean. Of course, the ladies can see, and you can't, that 3 of these machines are the automatic center post agitator type of washers. Now, they're all brand new models, and they're all so well known that, in all fairness, we've masked them off. Of course, the 4th is the new Westinghouse laundromat with the revolving agitator. Towels all in, ladies? All in. Good. Now, would you toss in those 2 cups of dirty sand, and that will represent the heavy dirt that you find in so many of your clothes, and then toss in the detergent after that. And then, if you'll be good enough to close the washers, and when they're all closed, if you'll start them. All going? All going. Fine. Now, would you please all stand right by your washer until the full cycle is completed? And that way you, and you too, will be able to see exactly how well each washer gets that dirty sand out of the towels. Watch for the outcome at the end of the next act.
And now, back to our dramatic test of the washers in our live television studio and the verdict.
Earlier in the show, you saw the beginning of a trial of 3 center post agitator automatic washers and the new Westinghouse revolving agitator washer. Well, now each of these machines has finished its wash and rinse cycle, and our 4 club women from the New York State and New York City Federation of Women's Clubs are ready to unload them. So why don't we go see? Let's start with Mrs. Strayer. Mrs. Strayer, would you open your machine and take out some of the towels and open them up so we can have a good look at them? Right there. Ooh. Now, as you all saw, each of these machines was loaded with 6 towels, 2 cups of dirty sand, and some detergent. Kind of a mess, wouldn't you say, Mrs. Strayer?
Betty, these towels are just covered with sand.
They really are.
And the bottom of the tub is full of sand.
Look at that.
My.
I don't think you'd like your wash to come out like that, would you, Mrs. Strayer?
I should say not.
I wouldn't either. Now, let's check our 2nd agitator washer. Mrs. Knaggs, would you do the same thing? Would you take your towels out and open them up so we can have a look at them?
They're dirtier than Mrs. Strayer's.
They are not a bit clean, are they? They just look terrible. I don't think we need to check the bottom of your machine for sand because I think it's all safely lodged in the towels, don't you?
All over everything.
Now, why don't we have a look at our 3rd center post agitator machine? Mrs. Kramer, let's see if you did any better. Would you take your towels out, please, one at a time? And let's see how they look.
Oh, look at all that sand in that towel.
That is not attractive, is it?
I should say not.
And there's still sand in that, too.
Look
and how about
look at that.
Yes, that seems even worse. How about the bottom of your machine? Is there any loose down there?
I think
yes,
definitely.
There
look
certainly
at all
is.
That.
Well, now, I have a suggestion. Why don't we all go and take a look at the towels that are coming out of the Westinghouse laundromat? Now, you ladies have all seen with your very own eyes just how much sand each of these center post agitator machines left in the towels. Mrs. Grantham, let's have a look at your towels, may we? Look at that.
Oh, look at how lovely and
Isn't
white
that
that is.
beautiful and
Oh, that's
clean?
Beautiful.
And another one just as clean.
Isn't that wonderful?
Each one, there's not a grain of sand.
Isn't that wonderful?
I must say I'm very impressed myself.
They are.
They all look simply wonderful. Well, now, Mrs. Grantham, I have a clean cloth here. I wonder if you would just wipe out the inside of the laundromat.
One more.
Look at that. Not a trace of sand. Well, now, ladies, you've all watched this test. We've all seen it right from beginning to end together, and you know it was completely fair and impartial, and I think I can see that you're pretty impressed with our laundromat.
Very much so.
I want to thank each of you so much for coming with us tonight.
Thank you. Good night, Betty.
Good night. And as for you ladies at home, if you're in the market for an automatic washer, I'd like to suggest that you go to your Westinghouse dealer and ask him to let you see this dramatic sand test yourself. I'm sure you'll agree that the new Westinghouse laundromat with the revolving agitator will wash and rinse your clothes much better than old-fashioned center post agitator washers. And for the best in laundry equipment or any appliance, remember, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.